"But you'll come straight back if they can't?" "Rather, sir." "Then run away, and don't miss your train." Pocket interpreted the first part of the injunction so literally as to arrive very breathless in his study. That diminutive cell was garnished with more ambitious pictures than the generality of its order, but the best of them was framed in the ivy round the latticed window, and its foreground was the nasturtiums in the flower box. Pocket glanced down into the quad, where the fellows were preparing construes for second school in sunlit groups on garden seats. At that moment the bell began, and by the time Pocket had changed his black tie for a green one with red spots, in which he had come back after the Easter holidays, the bell had stopped and the quad was empty. Before it filled again he would be up in town and on his way to Welbeck Street in a hansom. The very journey was a joy. It was such sport to be flying through a world of buttercups and daisies in a train again, so refreshing to feel as good as anybody else in the third smoker, for even the grown men in the corner seats did not dream of calling the youth an old ass, much less a young one, to his face. His friends and contemporaries at school were in the habit of employing the ameliorating adjective, but there were still a few fellows in Pocket's house who made an insulting point of the other. All, however, seemed agreed as to the noun, and it was pleasant to cast off friend and foe for a change, to sit comfortably unknown and unsuspected of one's foibles in the train. It made Pocket feel a bit of a man. But then he really was almost 17, and in the middle fifth, and allowed to smoke asthma cigarettes in bed. He took one out of a cardboard box in his bag, and thought it might do him good to smoke it now. But an adult tobacco smoker looked so curiously at the little thin cross between cigar and cigarette that it was transferred to a pocket unlit, and the coward hid himself behind his paper, in which there were several items of immediate interest to him. Would the match hold out at Lord's? If not, which was the best of the Wednesday matinees? Pocket had received £1 from home for his expenses, so that these questions took an adventitious precedence over even such attractive topics as an execution and a murder that bade fair to lead to one. But the horrors had their turn, and having supped on the newspaper supply, he continued the feast in Henry Dunbar, the novel he had brought with him in his bag. There was something like a murder. It was so exciting as to detach Pocket Upton from the flying buttercups and daisies, from the reek of the smoking carriage, the real crimes in the paper, and all thoughts of London, until he found himself there too soon. The asthma specialist was one of those enterprising practitioners whose professional standing is never quite on a par with their material success. The injurious discrepancy may have spoilt his temper, or it may be that his temper was at the root of the prejudice against him. He was never very amiable with Pocket Upton, a casual patient in every sense, but this morning Dr. Bompas had some call to complain. "You mean to tell me," he expostulated, "that you've gone back to the cigarettes in spite of what I said last time? If you weren't a stupid schoolboy I should throw up your case." Pocket did not wish to have his case thrown up. It would mean no more days and nights in town. So he accepted his rebuke without visible resentment. "It's the only way I can stop an attack," he mumbled. "Nonsense!" snapped the specialist. "You can make yourself coffee in the night, as you've done before." "I can't at school. They draw the line at that." "Then a public school is no place for you. I've said so from the first. Your people should have listened to me and sent you on a long sea voyage under the man I recommended, in the ship I told them about. She sails the day after to-morrow, and you should have sailed in her." The patient made no remark, but he felt as sore as his physician on the subject of that long sea voyage. It would have meant a premature end to his undistinguished school days, and good-bye to all thought of following in his brother's